There we go. Is that better? There we go. I forgot to turn on my my microphone thingy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the, for now, what's called the Daily DJ. I think we're going to go with House Edge Live. I think we'll talk about it later, but of all the names that have been suggested and the ones I've come up with myself, I think House Edge Live actually was a ChatGPT suggestion. Probably is the best name for this show. I think because I want to cover gambling in general and more than just craps. I want to get into the math and the physics and all the things, you know. I feel like that's just a better representation of the more broad stuff I want to get into. So, that camera looks weird, doesn't it? Let's do this here. Let's do that. Okay. So anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But for now, what I want to do is I want to spend the next probably 20 minutes or so going over a couple of just the normal, you know, what's happening in the world kind of stuff. But then I want to get into breaking down Ken and Waylon's retirement plan strategy. So, but before I do, as you know, we need to do the thing, right? We need to talk about the bridge and make sure that, especially today, right, when I talk about strategies and probabilities and all that kind of stuff, you've got to picture yourself playing this strategy that I'm about to show you. And when I show it to you, think about the bankroll that you need to play this thing. Now, the bankrolls are designed in most strategies to either provide leverage to lean into wins or allow you to withstand a whole bunch of loss, right? So again, as we're doing this today, think about the bankroll this will require you to do, even on bubble craps, okay? What is your appetite for risk? And you'll see that this strategy's got some risk to it in certain spots that I think can be a little bit jarring to some people, right? Are you averse or are you okay with that? And what is the reward following that risk? Is it worth it for you, right? Does the strategy, or do you identify opportunity? Ken will talk to you about when to GTFO on this thing. I'll talk about that today as well. Opportunity sometimes is not just leading into something hot, it's getting the hell out, right? Having discipline with a strategy like the one we're going to see today is super important, right? What are your goals? Keeping your emotions under control when things go south, and they will, right? And again, today we're talking about a specific strategy which is going to determine how we win, and we'll have hopefully a good mindset and be able to connect everything together. So, all right, so what's happening in the world today? Let me change this over here real quick. Let's see, I need to get a new, there we go. In the world today, we have my birthday coming up. It's not far away. It's actually July 18th. So we're looking at 2 months from now. 2 months from now, we get to go celebrate me in Vegas. And coinciding with that weekend is our Craps for the Cure event. So we'll be there for my birthday on the Friday. Saturday, Sunday's the event. If you want to come, if you think at all you want to be there, get your tickets. Get yourself into Vegas now. There is a discount code ready for us at Palace Station. If you need a place to stay, if you don't have your own comps figured out, Palace Station, if you use the code Casino Quest, it's actually this. I'll put KSINOQST. That is a 25% discount code at Palace Station. You can use it anytime, specifically during this event. And if you forget it when you go ahead and register for the event, go to crapsforthecure.com and register there. It's $100 to register for 2 days. No big deal. You'll get a bracelet that will potentially get you into or access to the private table that we're trying to get, and a bunch of other goodies. So bookmark that weekend. Even if you can't come, bookmark it. It's going to be a completely different event than it has been in the past. And I say completely different. We got some different things planned. I think that'll make it hopefully pretty fun. More on that next week, though. Okay. Following that, you got Big AZ 2 weeks afterwards. That weekend of September 28th to October 3rd. And then that October 3rd leads into Ed and Coach Parker and Tenton doing their casino tiers event. Now, that's sold out. You can't go to that, obviously, but just to let you know, it's happening that weekend. It's good to know that. And then we have the Dice Cruise with Premier Casino hosting coming up. The one in October is sold out. The one in February, we're taking names for. So if you want to come on a dice, if you've never been on a dice cruise, by the way, unbelievable experience. There's like 40 dedicated craps players. It's like, and three of the guys are actually Golden Touch teachers, right? So if you're into that sort of thing, they do classes every day on the boat. It's an awesome experience, really awesome experience. And that's going to be in February. I think that one's out of Florida. It's a 7-day cruise. Anyway, if you want more information on that, you let me know for sure. All right, so moving ahead. let's jump into this real quick. The channel, this show needs a new name, obviously. Daily Degen sucks. It feels like it steps on Chris's toes too much, and it's not what we do here. But I think right now, House Edge Live to me is the winner in the clubhouse. Coffee and Craps could be back in play. However, we don't do just craps anymore, right? I do craps most of the time, but I want to expand a little bit into other things. And I want to talk about the app that we're building with Casino Quest. I want to talk about the charity. I want to talk about other games. So Coffee and Craps doesn't feel right anymore, although it's a great name. So I'm still leaning on House Edge Live. But if you have a better idea, still let's hear it, right? Let's hear it. All right. Show with no name, right? But let's talk about this, the retirement plan from Ken and Waylon. This is interesting, and I want to hopefully do more of these types of shows as we go forward. This is an interesting strategy. It's actually, I think it's 24-0. I think it's moved. I think this one has moved into the undefeated category, and only a few strategies made it that far to 20-0. The Horseman being one of them. I think Ken's 2-for-1 made it that far. And now this one here has. It's tough. It's tough business, right? Well, you're right. It's 150, not 100. You're right. I let me fix that. Why did I mistype that? Give me a second here. I'm going to fix it. 150 DC. 150 DC. And then you've got to hedge the DCCO. There we go. All right. Let's save that. Let's replay it. Give me a second here. We'll put this back on screen. That should be better. Is that better? That's correct. Wrong way. Here we go. See that? Live editing for the win. Where are you? There we go. All right. So, the consummate gambler. There you go. That's not bad, actually. Smart gambling. Gamble Smart. Gamble Smart's a great name, but it's already a channel. And I want to have those guys on too. The Gamble Smart, the slot guys. I want to have them on as guests. Like, that's the thing. I want to get into this other stuff. Anyway. All right. So the retirement plan is this. Let me actually show it to you. I'm going to go down here. Give me a second. I'm going to move. Check this out. See if this works for you all. We're going to go, let's see, to the desktop. Can you see this? Booyah. That's actually my mouse pad. My work mouse pad is this. I can move it a little bit for us. So here's the play, okay? It's going to be, we're going to roll for a point. I'm going to take my Alaska dice. These are the, you can't see this at all. They're so cool. They're like made out of something cool. Anyway, we got a point in 9. Okay, let's put the puck out there on the 9. So what we basically do is this. Okay, you're going to go out there for 150 or 100, whatever you're going to do in the DC. Let's just do 150 once you have a point established. All right. Now here's the thing. Like, they are skipping this when the puck is off. They're not doing the don't pass when the puck is off. They're doing the DC when the puck is on. That's the first thing that I want you to consider when you look at a strategy like this. I find, for whatever reason, the DC bites me in the ass. And I know there's advantages to this, right? The principal advantage here is you can't get beat by 2 7s in a row or 2 11s in a row. Down here, yes, Jack Ace, for sure. Down here, you can get beat multiple times. 11, 11, 7, 7. You're out 4 bets, right? Which has happened, right? We always say this, like, a don't pass player has to be the smartest guy on the table, right? Play the smartest, because what will happen to the don't pass guy is, he'll win on 6 shooters in a row, and the table's going like shit, and like 4 guys PSO, right? He's winning and winning and winning and winning, and then one guy will go 7, 7, 11, 11 and take him out. Take all his winnings in 4 rolls, right? That happens down here. So they're doing the DC, right, to balance that. They're like, we're not going to get beat multiple times. We're going to do the DC, and if they get us once, they get us once, right? The shooter can get me one time. They can get an 11 in here, and they can whack my ass. That's the only thing that can happen bad here, okay? That's the reason for the move, and make sure you understand the reasons behind the move that starts with, okay? So that's, if you're going to be a don't player, also being in the don't come does not typically draw the ire of all the other players. Like, the jackass don't player that's out here, telling everybody to get bent and stuff. This is a little bit of a sneakier move on the table. Okay, so now remember, if you're playing this at Bubble Craps, there's no reason why you can't do this. $15 on the don't, right? Bubble Craps, you can take a 0 off of every single bet and do it this way. So if you're going to play it at bubble craps, the bankroll need is not as bad. Okay. Now, your risk level is going to come in right now. You're at 150 here. It's going to be kind of hard to see these black chips on the black felt, but you've got a $300 lay on the 10 or the 4. Now, you can lay them whenever. You can lay on the 5 or the 9 if you want to, right? The 5 or the 9 also for $200, right, will cover your don't, right? You need to think about where you want your lay. Ken likes to lay the 10 and the 4 because it's a 2-to-1 advantage of not getting this. Now, here's where your first time you're experiencing risk is. Okay, your first time experiencing risk is right now. Okay, what is your risk? Well, the 7 doesn't cost you much. Okay, the 7, you'd lose the 150. Your lay bet would win you 150. However, that's going to cost you $5, $6, $7, or $8, depending on the casino. Probably $8 in vig. This is not a pure cover. It's an $8 loss. Don't forget that. I know that Ken and Waylon and most of us don't do the vigs on our live shows because it's a pain in the ass. It's basically a cover, but you got to pay the vig on these things, and you're paying vig on the win. This win's 150, so the vig is paid on 150. So it's $5 here, $1 here, and probably $2 on that second one. It's probably going to be $8 in vig for you. So don't forget, every time this 7 comes, you're there. So the 7 doesn't get you, okay? The 11 gets you for 150, right? So we'll put a chip here. The 11, the 2 ways to roll the 11 will get you for 150. Okay. What also gets you is this. The 3 ways to roll the 10 will get you for 300. Okay. So you've got 5 ways to lose 150 or 300. This does not eliminate risk. People see the hedge and they go, oh my God, that's genius. The risk is basically gone. It's not. 3 ways to get whacked for 150 or for 300. 2 ways to get whacked for 150. Remember that those are there. Now you do have the 1 way to roll the 2 and the 2 ways to roll the 3 that are winners over here that don't affect this bet over here. So you have 3 ways to still win 150. These effectively eliminate those if you think about it, right? You have 2 ways to get beat on the 11, 3 ways to win on the other craps numbers. You're actually okay. This is kind of a wash, really. So you think about 3 ways to win, 5 ways to lose, right? You have 2 pure ways to lose on the 10 and another half a way to lose. If you think about that math, right? So you're not without risk, but you're not fully exposed to getting destroyed. The problem is that when the 10 comes, you do get kind of destroyed for 3 bets. So remember that. Actually, I watched one of Ken's videos yesterday, and this is what happened. The 10 rolled on the come out, and it's like, oh crap, we're done. Anyway, that's move 1. 150 on the DC, lay 10, and now we have to bear the risk right now for 1 roll. It's a 1 roll risk to lose 150 or 300. Now, I talked to you before about your risk profile. What is your appetite for risk in this deal? And by the way, if you're playing bubble craps, this lay bet is $30. 30 to cover 15, 300 to cover 150. So if you're going to play on bubble craps, you can totally do that. Right, fine and good. Here we go. Let's roll the dice again on our Yahtzee dice. And here's the miracle. Right, here's the miracle. You win 150 on the miracle roll, right? Because you got a horn number. You win 15 over here. Now, from the discipline standpoint and from the goal standpoint and from the identifying standpoint of the bridge, we talk about this all the time. Identify when it's time to leave. Identify opportunity. If the strategy is designed, as Ken says it is, to win between 100 and 200 bucks, you just did it. You won your 150 in 1 roll, right? Not a bad time to say, I'm identifying the time to leave and GTFO. Get out of there with your win, okay? Let's, for the sake of the demonstration, pretend that didn't happen, okay? It's nice that it happened. It's cool to see that it does. Let's pretend it didn't happen. I want to play the thing out. And there's a 9. Okay, cool. So we hit the point, okay? Now, if you had done this, by the way, on the DP, right, you just got whacked on the point, right? That'll happen to you. But here we go. Puck is going to be off. Our pass or our don't come bets travel up. We get our money back. Our protection money, I'll put it here. It comes back to us in the rack. Okay. But now we have these super awesome bets on the 7. Okay. Now here's an interesting place to be. Okay. The strategy is designed to get 2 wins, right? It wants a win right away on the across bets, and it wants a win following that on the don't come bet. So what you have to do here is this. You're not playing the pure 7. Okay? What you're going to do here is hedge this off right away. You're going to plug this hole immediately. We don't want to have any risk. So 2 ways to do it. And you have to decide how much you want to bear. On the bubble craps, all you can really do is this. You can do 15, just place it for the amount. I'm more thinking about this. Like if you do kind of this, like 125 on, and again, you can't do 125 on a bubble. You can do 12 or 13, but regardless, let's just say it's $15. What you're doing here, 125, by placing the 9 against the 150, this wins 175. So you'd lose 150, win 175. Your net would be $25 on the 9. Here, you'd lose 15, you'd win 21. Your net would be $6 on the bubble crap side of things. That's why you hedge that off. Now, if the 7 happens to come, this is a tie on bubble. On the main game, you're going to lose 125. You're going to win 150. Your net again is a quarter. So for one roll, we're not going to give a crap. We're going to let a point come out. Nothing bad can happen here, right? We get the 8. Now we take off our place bets. And we're doing that because the real strategy is here. The real strategy is this is like too far off the screen there. The real strategy is they get one hit and then go, right? So you got to play this by how much money you got up here. So you got 150 up here. And again, there's a couple of options. You can go with quarters across on the 8, 10, and this becomes 125, 135 across against 150. So if the 7 comes, you'd lose the 135, you'd win 150, you net $15. Now what Ken has been doing recently is putting $15 in the field and making it a complete wash. So it's a one roll. Either we tie because there's no vig here, complete tie, or we get some juice out of it. Okay. The risk here is, of course, the 8. It should be on the 9 rather. The risk of here is the 8 repeating. You're risking the ricochet. Okay. We have our 9. We don't need our 9 yet. I'm sorry. I'm all jacked up. We need the 8. We need the 8 placed. All right. We're risking the 9, not the 8. Sorry. My mistake. I'm risking the 9 being the thing that repeats. Now, after the one, and again, you can put this here on the bubble crap side. What you're probably going to do is, let's math it out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We can do 2 in the field. Let's do like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 across, no field. Or you can do take 2 off the 4 and 10 and put it in the field. So you have 2 and 2. So it's 2, 4, 6, 9, 12, $15. So on the bubble craps, you can go 2, 3, 3, 2, and 2 in here and be completely hedged off. Both sides, nothing happens on a 7. Now, the thing that I'll gripe, and I'm going to take these out of the way, and I'll leave them there, whatever. The thing that makes you queasy about this right here is that you worked really hard to get this bet out, right? Like the don't come bet's hard to get out. I know we hedged off the 7. We beat the 10. Right, we had to worry about the 10 taking $300. We had to worry about the 11 taking 150. It's a lot of work, a lot of sweating to get $150 out here on some number, right? And by doing this right here, the 7 gives you nothing. The 7 gives you no power. That's the one negative I see to this whole thing is like when you're doing this kind of work, and I say this with Jacob too. When Jacob does his don't passes, right? The 7 gives you no juice. It's a tie for a minute. But what we're gonna do is roll the dice and see what we can get out of this thing. We'll roll the dice. Oh, it's off the table. And we got a 7. So let's pretend no 7. Because it's a tie. The 7 is a tie. We win 150, you lose 150. Let's pretend we're rolling. I want you to see what happens when a number rolls. That's important. There's a midnight. So your field would win. Okay? And the field would win 2, 4. So you win $4 on bubble craps, which is yay for us, right? I'll put that over here. The regular player wins $30, right? Paying double. So you win 30. Now you're done. The strategy is I'm done. We take everything down. All these bets come back. Right? We'll put those all in our safety zone. Oh my God. Back in our rack. We'll take these all down. Over here. And you've got $30 in profit. And then what you do, now you make that move. Now you put your 125 here on the 9. You're going to look to win $50. The other player is going to put $15 on the 9 for the bubble machine, and you wait it out. Right? We just roll it out and see what happens, right? So you made $15 there. There's your 10. There's your 7. Okay, so you lose 15, and this guy loses 125. But he wins 150, so his net win is a quarter. Okay, and for that round, he won $30 on the midnight and $15 on that 7. Okay, the other player here wins his $15, but remember he had 15 here. He ties. It's basically a no op for him. Nothing really happens over there. Okay, so that's the basic strategy. Now let's think about this. Here's the part that I get a little negative on. All right, we risked $300 on the come out of the DC for that 10. Big risk. We also risked on the come out over here the full 150 on the 11. Now you can hedge the 11 off, but you're risking 150 or $300. Okay. Then for the one roll, when you have everything out here, you're still at risk because in our case we had the 9 laid, right? Where we had the 9 covered, right? You're still risking the 9, right? When you have the across bets, you're not protected. You have the 9 out there, right? A no 9. So it means you got 4 ways to get bonked for 150 again, right? So on the come out, you've got 2 ways to lose on the 11. You've got 3 ways to lose on the 10. Once that travels to the 9, your risk shifts. Now you have 4 ways to lose on the 9. So you're never fully covered. That 150 is always in danger, either here or here. The reward for that level of risk, which is not a little bit of risk, it's quite a bit of money, is this. And we had a great situation here. We won 30 in the field, right? And we won our 25 on the don't. We won $55, putting 150 at risk. So you risk basically 3 times your win, right? That's an important thing to remember. Now, Dr. S is saying this, which Ken and Waylon don't do, but don't go to craps without a ladder. I disagree with that. You know me, I'm not a ladder player, because if that goes down, right, your next bet, I'm gonna leave this out here. Your next bet then needs to be bigger. Your next bet needs to be 300 and 600, and then it's going to be 900, or maybe it's 450. You go up units, 450 and 900 bucks over here, right? Your bankroll needs become enormous, right? If you ladder this thing up and you go from, let's put it out here so you can see it, right? Let's just do 3 levels, right? Level 1 is 150. It doesn't matter which one of those bets loses. 150 and 300 is your first bets, right? If that goes down, your next bet is 300 and, get a purple out here, 300 and 600. And if that goes down, let's say the $300 goes down, now you're out here for 450. 1, 2, 3, 4, 50. And this has to be 900, right? So you can see the bankroll needs go huge. When you're betting black chips and you ladder up, the bankroll needs go out of sorts. So be careful about that. I said, the part of the bridge that I open up with every day is make sure your bankroll matches your play style, and make sure that you're okay with that kind of risk. This strategy, if you ladder it, you need 10 grand at least to get through that, because it's 450 here. And again, take the biggest loss as the window, right? You lose 300, you lose 600, you lose 900 on the 10. Let's just pretend that that's what happened to you, right? 3, 6, 900 bucks. That's $1,800 here on the 10 without even getting through it. So be careful about that. Be very, very careful about laddering this at the black chip level. Okay. Point stands, Dr. S, that laddering can be the tool that you need in certain situations. This one here needs a lot of money. So overall impressions are this. Be careful here, right? I like this move, right? I don't hate this move. Let's just say that. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate this. Okay. I do worry about the 10 getting picked off. And when the 10 does get picked off, by the way, what Ken does is this. He goes, you lose the 10, the 150 goes up. What Ken does, he abandons all of this. There's no more of this. He's just going to go up here and lay it for 300 bucks, right? Lay it for 300 bucks, right? And what he does then, he gets his 150 on the flat, and he gets his 150 on the lay, all of which is no vig, and he gets back his money. So if you do get planked, he says, screw the strategy. Let's just go all in on the odds and play like a real hardcore don't player, right? And try and get the money back on that very same shooter. Tough deal. It's a tough deal, right? So when you're laying $300 to get something out, the recovery plan has got to be, it cannot be $55 at a time. You can't say, well, that sucks. I lost $300 on my lay bet, right? You can't be here and go, oh, that blows, and lose the $300, go to the 10 with your thing, and then go across right here. Then you're making this move. Let's say the point was 9, right? You cannot do this and get $35 on a win 10 times, because you need to make this move here work 10 times before you get picked off over here to get the $300 back, right? When you're risking 300 to win 35 or 30, like we just saw, the risk level of that means you got to win this 10 times to get it back. And this is where big lay bet strategies lose me. It's why the horseman is called the hedgeless horseman. We don't hedge the don't pass. I'll take the $100 loss or the $50 loss or the $25 loss here. I will not take double that amount of loss up here, because I know that my win size is generally going to be about a quarter. You can't win the $300 you lost back $35 at a time. You'll pull your hairs out, right? That's why Ken says, screw that. We're not even going to try that. We're going to go all in and lay that thing for 300. And if we lose here, right, it wasn't your day. And that might be your key to get the hell out of there and try it again tomorrow. Because you would have lost 300 and then you're at 750. Okay. And if you lose 7, let's say they roll a 10, you already lost 3. You're losing 3, 4, 50 here, 750 in total, right? That's a Hail Mary, baby. I'm done. Either you're going to do this and have to win $35 now. How many times is that? I don't even know how many times that is. You have to win it 17 times to get back, right? Or do full lays with odds 4 or 5 times to get back. This is where these things fall apart. Now, Ken's been lucky, right? He's been winning this thing. He's done this a few times and it's come back and won. He's won his $35 2 or 3 times before the 7s come, and he's making his money on it. When it goes down, it will go down, and it's going to go down big and hard. And if you're laddering like Dr. S suggests, you got to be super careful about it, okay? But on bubble craps, I could see this all day long. I could see having a $15, on the 9 as that DC bet, and doing, like I said, 2, and then 3, not there, but 2, 3, 3, 3, and 2, right? And $2 in the field. And in bubble craps, I'd take 2 hits. Just take 2 rolls, right? Avoid the 9 twice. Get paid your $4, your $4 a couple of times, and get out, right? And make this thing win you $5 every time you make the move work. Now, the last thing I'll say before I leave is this. I'm going to set it back up one more time just so you can see the point that I'm about to hopefully be a good point here. Boom, boom. Let's get the 150 back on the 9. All right, here's where we were. We had 150 on the 9 as a DC bet. We had our cross plus our field, and we're here 150 versus 150. Now, what they're doing, Ken and Waylon, is taking one hit. Let's just say it was a box number. Let's say it was the 6 or the 8 for $35. They take the $35. They take all this down, and they wait for the next shooter. And they do the same thing again. So they incur the risk. They incur the risk to get all this set back up again for the next shooter, right? And we talked about this. The risk is big. The risk is big to get into the spot you want to be in. I look at this and go, what's the difference of being in the spot you want to be in right now, where we are where we want to be, versus having to do it all over again? If you had to wait all over again to do it, you'd be in a world of hurt. You follow me? Every time you got to re-incur the risk. You've already incurred the risk. You're stuck. You're now down to only 4 ways to lose on the 9. You might sit here and take 2 hits or 3 hits. There's no difference of taking your hits now versus doing all the work and taking 1 hit and turning it off. It's a rhythm thing, but you've already done the work to get the bet out. I'd probably keep it here. All right. I would also, on the next run out there, like Jacob does, let's say that we won like we did. Take all our money down. If we won, right? Guess what? The next DC becomes leveraged up. Now your next DC is 185. And then you can go a little bigger. If you win it again, increase this and do it 3 times and leverage up your DC bet using your wins and making this be a little stronger, because every time you're adding $35 to it or $30 to it every time to make it easy. Think about that. Leverage up your wins as you go. You can do the whole thing twice instead of 3 times to beat your goal. You can take a whole series off of what it requires to get done if you leverage up your bets with your wins. Just again, pulling out of the book of Jacob as a slight way to talk through it. But that's it. I think it's an interesting strategy, right? It all makes sense when it works. I worry about the lay, of course, and I said Ken's beat the lay a few times and it's worked out for him. So there it is. Let's go. I got to get to work here. So let's go ahead and punch back to the regular show here. Let's get to, there we go. All right. So that's it. Hope that was a little bit interesting. Hear some of the goods and bads about it. I think it's, like I said, I like Ken, I like Gwaylin. I would never do the lay. I would just take the hit on the don't. Just take the hit on the don't, and it is what it is. You're going to lose sometimes over here. It has to be, I'd rather lose 150 once in a while than losing $300 and having to fight back from that. That's just my personal taste. I don't like to hedge where I can, but again, I understand why. Right? I would also probably leave it out here a little longer. I may also use some of the wins as leverage to get bigger wins on the future ones. But hey, the strategy is 25-0. Who the hell am I to judge? Right? They're doing great with it. He's winning 150, $200 every single day, and it's doing awesome. So good for them. Good strategy. I love it when YouTubers collaborate and come up with something cool. I really do. Again, I like to apply the learnings from other people, right? Like the Jacob way of leveraging, and I think that makes things maybe a little better. So there it is, guys. I'm out of here. I got to get to work. So let's leave you with a couple of things. Where's my deal here? I don't have time for questions. We'll talk about Craps for the Cure all next week. And remember, over the weekend and into your life, this: perfection, not attainable. But if you chase it, you might get excellence. Right? That's your quote of the day. Take that with you to the weekend. Hug your family. Love your loved ones. God bless you all. I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for bearing with me this week as I get reacclimated into my life. So love you all. Bye.